Hello learners, so welcome to our revision session, and as you can see on your screen you have a KASNEB past paper for communication skills which was recently done. It's a paper that was done in April 2022, and I want to at least I take you through some of these questions, revise together, see the possible answers, and help you for revision purposes. So our question 1, as you can see, you have been nominated by your organization to make a media announcement of a new product. Propose 5 factors that you might consider when choosing the media for the press release. That is our first question, question 1A, that is. So the question is looking for factors that you will consider when you want to choose a media for press release, especially for a new product. So that simply means the product is completely new in the market and people do not know about it. So the company has given you a duty to look for a media and choose a media that you are going to use for creating awareness, or for purposes of creating awareness about that specific product. So some of the factors that you might consider, as you can see, the question is looking for 5 factors. In my possible answers, I have 6, but you can just do the first 5. So number 1, you'll consider the nature of the product. And under the nature of the product, is it a product that is a basic product, or is it a luxury product, or what type of a product it is? As you can see here, they say a product that is needed by all will encourage mass media. That means a product that is not needed by all will not encourage mass media. So we'll have to consider the nature of the product. Is it a fast-moving good, or is it a slow-moving good? And then apart from that, is it a product that is used by all people in the market, or just a section of the people in the market? So having such factors in your hand, will be in a position to know which media will you use. Because if it's a product that is being used by all people in the market, then that means you have to go for the mass media. Mass media is a media that covers a lot of people. Like, for example, you can use television, you can use even radio, newspapers, name it. But if it's a product that is only for a section of people in the market, then that means you just use personal media, like brochures or giving sales leaflets, something like that. And then another thing that you'll have to consider is the budget available. How much does the company have, or how much was the budget for advertising? Because the more money you have, the more you can go for expensive modes of advertising. The less money you have, so that is also another thing that you have to consider. The budget available, how much money has the company allocated for the advertising purposes, and is it money for the whole year, for that specific month, for a week, or what is it? That is also something that you have to consider. And also another thing that is in connection with the budget is the cost of the media. You have to consider the cost of the media. If this is the media that you are going to choose to do the advertisement, can we afford it? Is it affordable? Is it economical enough? Or will we invest a lot in the advertisement in a way that we compromise with the profits? Those are some of the things that we need to consider. Also the coverage, of which in terms of the coverage you talk about mass media or personal media. So in talk of mass media, it's a coverage that covers a lot of people. But when you just want to cover a just section or a number of people in that specific market, that can also affect the choice of the media you use. And as I explained earlier, I said when the product is used by all people, that means you have to go for the mass media. So it will depend on the coverage that you want to attend. If you want to attend a wider coverage a global coverage or nationwide coverage, it will also affect the type of the media that you're going to choose. If you want to reach people who are just around you, then you can even go for what you call something like the transport advertisement, whereby you just take a car which is having banners of the product, or maybe having video shows of the product, and then move along that town and call it a day. So it will depend on the coverage that you want to attain. And then lastly, the media availability. You've chosen that media. There's a media that you're about to choose. How available is it? Is it reliable enough? Can you depend on it? Can it help you achieve the objectives that you want to achieve through the advert? Or what is it? So these are some of the questions that you need to have in your mind when you're selecting that media. If I'm going for television, we have so many television stations, or we have so many TV stations. Which one is available at that moment in time? It can also affect your decision. If maybe you're going for radio, which radio station? If it's newspapers, which kind of newspaper? So it will depend on the availability. You might want Citizen TV, you might want a Nation newspaper, you might want a certain radio station, but at that moment in time it says, no, we have a lot in our plate, we have a lot of things to do, we cannot manage to do that part. So if that is the case, what do you do? That means you have to go for that media that is available at that moment in time. So those are some of the factors that you will consider whenever you want to choose a media for press release. And then question B here, question B was talking about disadvantages of using questionnaires to collect information. And one thing we need to understand, collection of information in any enterprise or in business or in organizations will not end because of the dynamic nature of the environment. We are living in an era where things change a lot. So you need to do a lot of research in order for you to be up to date and in order for you to be able to achieve the objectives of that specific business or that specific organization or whatever it is. So sometimes by doing research, there are so many ways of doing research. You can do research using questionnaires, you can do research using observation, you can also use interviews, name them. But here, we've been told to explain the disadvantages of using questionnaires as a method of data collection. And our answers, disadvantages of using questionnaires to collect information. Number one, dishonest answers. Most likely, that is a limitation that comes with questionnaires. Sometimes people do not write or do not provide information that is 100% true or accurate, because you just write what you feel like writing. There are those people who can write correct answers or true answers, but some of them might feel, no, I don't need to be open. Now that there's nobody asking me or nobody is like interviewing me on a face-to-face basis, just something that I need to write. I can write anything so long as I fill the questionnaire. So sometimes we have that disadvantage of dishonest answers. And then also, apart from dishonest answers, you might have unanswered questions. This person has been given the questionnaire. He just answers the questions that he feels like he can answer. If he feels like this one is disturbing me, it's making me to strain a lot, can leave it unanswered. So that can also be a limitation of a questionnaire. So you might also have unanswered questions, of which that can also affect the research or the survey that we're about to do. And then sometimes another limitation or disadvantage, differences in understanding and interpretation. In written communication, any kind of a written communication, misunderstandings and misinterpretations normally arise. Because sometimes what the sender or what the person initiating the information writes might not be interpreted the same way by the respondent or by the receiver of that particular information, of which that already will bring about contradiction, because I'll be answering things that maybe you never asked because of the issue of misinterpretation or differences in understanding and interpretation. That is a common disadvantage of a questionnaire. It's not unless maybe this person who is giving you the questionnaire gets you through the questions, at least to explain for you what is expected of you, the answers you expected to you, maybe that can work. But assuming just a questionnaire has been given to you and you're supposed to answer, you will answer what you understand. So what if whatever I'm understanding is not whatever the other person meant? That becomes a disadvantage already. So difference in understanding and interpretation can also be a disadvantage. And then also it's hard to convey feelings and emotions. Yes, with written communication, especially in this aspect of questionnaire, it's very difficult for you to convey your feelings or your emotions. and like when you're giving out information on a one-on-one or face-to-face basis. You can react, you can use body language, you can emphasize by using gestures for this person to understand how you feel and what you feel. But when it comes to written communication, especially in the issue of questionnaire, sometimes it becomes very difficult for you to convey your feelings or even your emotions, depending on what is the subject all about. And then lastly, questionnaires are not good when you're dealing with illiterate people. So that means some people will be left out. That is why you see the questionnaires, the questionnaire cannot be used with illiterate or even children. So that is also another disadvantage. It selects the kind of people you are going to give out to the questionnaires. So sometimes this can also be a disadvantage. And then to our question C, you can see here it is, with relevant examples, analyze characteristics of a good sales speech. So not just a speech. The question is not looking for characteristics of a good speech, but characteristics of a good sales speech. That is what you need to put the emphasis into. And as you can see here, some of the characteristics that we have in our answers, it should define the problem and offer solution. Because what is a sale? That is where we need to start. A sale is a transaction whereby the buyer gives money to the supplier or to the seller, and then the seller gives the product to the buyer. So it is an exchange transaction where money is exchanged in return for a good. So sometimes when you're giving a sales pitch, that means you have a group of customers who are listening to you and you want to convince them to buy your product. You want to convince them why your product is good. You want to convince them why your product compared to the competitor's product is superior. So when you're giving that speech, what are some of the features should the speech have? You should not only concentrate into selling or maybe changing this potential lead to become a client, but also concentrate in something that will build a long-term relationship between you and this person you're trying to convince. So a good sales pitch is the one that defines the problem as well as give the solution. So this product is given because of A, B, C, D, and the moment you use this product, you will not regret because it's going to give you 100% expectation. So a good sales pitch is the one that defines what the customer problem is, at the same time giving a solution towards the customer problem. When you talk of customer problem, you don't mean serious problems. Customer problems is specifically referring to the goods that the customer needs, or maybe the services that the customers need in the market. And then also it should focus on benefits, yes. Convincing the customers why they should buy this product. Focus on the benefits. What are some of the advantages will I get from using your product? What are some of the benefits will I see from using your product? So a good sales pitch is the one that focuses on benefits. It should also allow participation of the audience. Yes, let the other people or the other parties also respond. That is the only way you're going to make this conversation, this speech very effective. Because if you're the speaker from A up to Z, then that means at the end of the day, this person either is keeping quiet so that you can finish and call it end, or maybe is not understanding and so is not bothering to. So engage the customers. When you allow the participation of the audience, you'll be in a position to understand even more of their likes or their dislikes so that you can know how is this product of mine going to be improved as far as the customer needs is concerned. So allow participation from the other. If they do not participate, even go ahead and ask questions. That is the only way you can make them participate. Because not all people in a conversation, not people in a presentation will be able to speak. But sometimes if they do not speak, they want to initiate them, to initiate their message, them speaking. How? Through asking questions. So if you ask them questions and they're able to answer you, at least you are making them to participate or to be part of their speech. And then it should be personal. Make your message to be unique. Don't generalize something. If it's a product that is having so many substitutes in the market, make your message to be personal. Do not generalize the message in a way that you're even advertising for the other competitors. So be personal. Concentrate on the unique features of your product so that you can convince the people you are doing the presentation to why they should go ahead and purchase that product in the market. And then lastly, the speech should be tailored to the audience. So that is also something else that you need to have in order for you to have a good sales pitch. Make sure that the speech is tailored to the audience. What kind of people am I presenting to? Is this presentation good enough for them? Is this presentation going to convince them? Is this presentation going to persuade them? So these are some of the things that will make a sales pitch to be good or to be effective. So that is number one over past paper of April 2022. See you in our second question. Thank you.